Hello everyone, hope you are doing well. So today in this video we'll learn about arrays. Arrays is basically a list of number of elements which are stored in a computer memory in a sequence, right? So that's what we can call array. Here's the simple syntax of array. Here is the type of array, like which type, int, float, or whatever type you are using. It's the name of the array. uh, here is a new operator which we use if we want to create a dynamic arrays. We learn about dynamic static arrays later. And this is the size of the array, whatever size you want to create, right? So here's an example: int marks. Here we have this we have given the size 20. So basically there will be 20 members element in this dynamic array, right? It is also we have a type of static array. Here we have only three elements here. Let's discuss about the type of arrays. How many type of arrays there we have generally? So we talk about type of arrays. In term of dimension, there are three type of arrays. What is one dimension, which we will create later in this video in our Visual Studio. Two-dimension array, which is basically a combination of rows and column. So it's a kind of matrix, we can say, which we have learned in mathematics. So that's 2D arrays, that kind of thing. And we'll also learn about how to create multi-dimensional array. And multi-dimensional array is basically arrays with many dimensions. Apart from rows and columns, there are layers which form a multi-dimensional array. We'll also learn about how to create a multi-dimensional array later in this video. We talk about type of arrays in terms of memory allocation. There are basically two type of arrays. One is static and another is dynamic array. I'll also explain these two. I'll also explain these things in our Visual Studio. So now, without wasting any time, let's jump into our Visual Studio Code and create them one by one and try to understand all this practically. Our Visual Studio Code. Now let's create a new file. Arrays.java. Arrays.java. Let's save it. Here we have a new file, arrays, with the name arrays.java. Let's write our main method here. Public static void main. Now let's talk about arrays. Arrays is basically a list of same elements which are stored in a sequential form inside our memory. Now let's first of all we'll learn about how we can create a static array, then we'll learn about dynamic arrays, and then we'll also discuss the dimension of array as well here. Let's say we want to create a static array. We can just simply create static array. Let's suppose we want to create an array of marks of students. So this is how we can create a static array, right? So this is the simple code to create a static array. Now let's create a dynamic array here. Dynamic array. Let's say we want to create an int type array of xyz. Let's name it xyz, right? And we will use new operator because when creating a dynamic array we use new operator here, right? Int, and then we'll write size. So size, let's put 5 here. Here we have created a dynamic array of the name XYZ of 5 elements. So now let's put elements in each index of the array. So in 0 index we will have, let's say, 1. In second index XYZ, in second index to in first index we have let's say 2, and so on. So that's how we can create a dynamic array. Now let's talk about dimension of array. Dimension. So first of all, let's talk about one-dimensional array. An array which have just a linear sequence of element is called one dimension. Here you can see an example of one dimension. This is one dimension array, this is also one dimension array. So these both are one dimension array. Let's write it here as well. So these two are one dimension array. Now let's talk about two-dimensional array. To create a two-dimensional array, we can use, let's say we want to create an array of the name ABC, and we want to create a two-dimensional array, right, which is equals to let's say we want to create a dynamic array, and let's say size. So here, when giving the size, first one will be the number of rows in your array. Let's say we want to put 2, and this will be the column, so 3 column. Here we will have 2 rows and 3 columns in this array, in this ABC array, right? So that's how we can create a two-dimensional array. Now let's talk about 3D arrays here as well. So how we can create a 3D array? Let's say we want to create integer type array of name PQR, and it's dimensional array. So we have, which is equals to, we are also creating dynamically. Now here the first bracket, square bracket, will represent the number of layers you want to put in your three-dimensional array. This will represent the number of columns, the number of rows you want to put, and this will represent the number of columns, right? So that's how we can create a multi-dimensional array. We can write a three-dimensional array. I forgot to write int here if it's showing here. Now let's also create a four-dimensional array. What a four-dimensional array will look like? Let's say we want to create an array of STV, just a random name, 1 2 3 4, which will be equals to new int, and here we will have first layer, this will be our second layer, this will be our second layer, this will be our number of rows, and this will be number of columns. So that's how we can create multi-dimensional array in Java. Hope you'll understand this. In today's video we learned about arrays, we learned about static array, we learned about dynamic arrays, we also learned about one-dimensional array, we learned about two-dimensional array, we also learned about three-dimensional array, and we also learned how to create a four-dimensional array. And we also discussed that what will be each square representing in multi-dimensional arrays. Like in case here, this square will be representing the number of layers in each three-dimensional array, right? So that's all for this lecture. See you in the next lecture. Until then, keep learning and keep improving yourself. Thank you very much.